Hi everyone. In last sessions we discussed about of the S3 bucket. We just started our S3 bucket and already we completed one lab task. So already we created a S3 bucket and we uploaded the object and we access the object using of the object URL. We know that what is the object and what is the S3 and what is the purpose of the S3 bucket. So we have the next agenda that is called as the versioning. So in S3 bucket, we have the versioning concept. In that, we have the object locking. Then we have the transfer accelerations and S3 bucket storage classes. We will discuss today. So first of all, we need to the create a S3 bucket here because we already deleted the whatever we created. I think we have already one bucket. So I'm deleting this one. 1 minute. I will create another S3 bucket. So delete bucket. Okay. So I want to create a new bucket. So you can see then create a new bucket here. Then I'm creating already we discussed general purpose. I'm creating. Then name it should be unique. So I'm saying admin yes 3. Okay. So it should be unique every time and ACL enables for the testing purpose. Just I'm enabling here. So I'm creating the block public access. It's disabling because it's a by default enable and real time in our project. It will be also block all public access. Okay. So I'm giving the acknowledgement. Then after that, I'm disabling of the bucket versioning here. By default, we can see the disable. So I'm keeping as it is here, and also I'm keeping as it is object lock here. So just we created the small just a minute. We are getting some validation here already. Okay, validation because it should be every time unique name. See, my bucket is successfully created. In that bucket, I want to store the one object here. So I'm uploading one object here. So add files here. Then I'm uploading this one. Okay. So once we uploaded here, then I'm giving the permission here as a grant public access, read access here. Then I'm giving the acknowledgement here. Then once we upload it, then we can access this object here also. So you can see here we have the URL. So you can copy this URL. Otherwise, just go to the buckets here. Once we click on the bucket, you can see the objects in the. Then you can see here the ones we selected here the URL object. Then you can copy this URL and you can paste it here. So you can see here I can add it successfully here and I can access the successfully my object at a public level. So next we have the versioning here. So you can see here it's by default we already selected disable. So we cannot say any toggle here because it's a disable. Whenever we go with properties, I'm updating my bucket configuration here. So bucket versioning here by default here. So click on the edit, then enable. Then once we click on the enable, then just click on the save changes here. You can see here so show versions here. So toggle button, once we click on the toggle, we can see the null because we already added the object. Once we added the new object, you can see suppose whenever we uploading the new object, so I will show you what is the purpose of the. Then you can see here the suppose I am uploading the one another file, image, anything here. So I'm giving here, then you can see the permission public here, then I'm giving the acknowledgement here. Once we added the acknowledgement here, so just go to the close it. Okay, once we close it, then just you need to go the buckets here. You can see here 1 minute. Sorry, and I don't want to create a bucket. Just okay. You can see here. Can we see anything here? We can see the last updated here. Once we click on the versioning here, you can see the versions. This is the old file, this is the new file because version ID will be generated. But what is the purpose of the versioning? So it is used to the maintain the multiple variant of the same file. Before earlier, whenever we upload the same file, it will be override the file. But right now, whenever we enabling the versioning, then it will be maintain the multiple variant of the same file. So it will be create a one version side. So once it's by default disabled here, show versions. So just we need to click on the show versions and we can see the latest one file. So every time we can see the latest file. So because you can see the last modified also here. So what is the purpose of this one? Suppose we are uploading the same data in the morning and I want updated some data in the evening. So then I want to upload the same file with new data, with existing data. So then you can just go to the file and you just we need to the upload the file. You can see the version ID will be generated and we can see the old version and new versions also. Because it's a backup purposing, we can use and we cannot override the suppose I this one suppose whenever we upload the one file here, suppose I'm uploading these Raju credentials. Once we uploaded the Raju credentials here, so in the morning, I have updated some data in this file, but after that, sometimes whenever we uploaded the files, after that I have modified this file. Suppose I'm modifying this file and I have added the new data, but I don't want to the override the file. I want previous one also, new one also, because suppose sometimes I got realized whatever we have updated, so it's some error in this data. So it can be anything here. So this one also I want the file. Then you need to go the show versioning and you can download it and you can modify it. Otherwise, we can keep as it is the data. Suppose we added here new data. So I have modified this one. So once we modified this one, we need to just save it. Okay. Once we save the data, just we need to go the once again here in the S3 bucket. I'm closing this one. So I'm uploading this one also. Then add files here. When I click on the, then you can see the modified last one because we override the file. But whenever we go with versioning in the S3 bucket, then we can see the old version, also new version. So we can use this versioning for the backuping purpose. So we can use it. So suppose if we don't have any data, old data, then how we suppose we have the two datas. One is a file, another suppose we have the 100 lines of the data. After that, I have modified this file with 20 lines of the file. After that, I got realized whatever we have updated, we don't want to this data. So we need to the open it and we need to the remove the all the 100 data. It's better to you we can use the versioning because once we use the versioning then we can see the old one and new one files, then we can preference to that file whatever we have updated. You can see the versioning file uh, versioning id will be generated. It should be unique every time and you can see the modified last modified, then you can see the size, then storage classes we will discuss because right now we are using the standard storage classes here. Okay, so this is the purpose. So what is the by default as a versioning is a disable, when we upload the again the same name it will be override the old file. But whenever versioning is a disabled, but whenever we have the versioning is enabled, then can we override the file? No, we cannot override the file because we are enable the we can say called as we already enable the our versioning, so we cannot override the file. We can maintain the old file, we can maintain the new file. For the backupping purpose, we can use the versioning concept. It depends on your requirement. After that, all those requirement who will be provided, it will be provided the requirement from the architecture team. So we have the another architecture team. They will decide the what configuration, what are the we can say called as we will discuss later on. Just I'm giving to the some clarification. Okay. So after that, we will discuss later on. If we don't want to replace the old file from the bucket, then we can enable the versioning, because we are maintaining the old versioning and we are maintaining the new files also. That time we need to enable the versioning. So versioning is nothing but we will enable we will enable at bucket level, and it is applicable at a object level. So this is the main important thing. Whenever we versioning is enabling at bucket level, so we are enable at bucket level, so it will be applicable for the object level. Where we changes the properties here, we changes the property at bucket level. Are we going to any changes at a object level? No. So my bucket is a main thing. In that bucket, whatever we changes, it will be automatically reflect in our object. So that is the called as a versioning. It's a small topic. Okay. You can see the in bucket also we have the multi-factor authenticator also for the delete purpose. So whatever, suppose I want to backup for all my old files, so we can provide to the authenticator also. No one can also, we are not allowing to the delete our data, so because some project data are important. So it depends on you. You can use the multi-factor authenticator. Everyone knows the purpose of the multi-factor authenticator. So every time we can say called as a every time 1 minute. Okay. So every time we can say called as a every time OTP will be generated in the yeah, a multi-factor authenticator. So it depends on you. You can enable the multi-factor authenticator. It's an additional security. After that, we will discuss the object locking. So what is the object locking? Object locking is nothing but it is used to enable the feature worm. Worm is nothing but it's a short form WORM. So what is the worm? Worm is nothing but write once, read many times. Suppose we created the one object, we created one object is nothing but we uploaded the one data. Okay, so it can be photos, it can be videos, it can be files. So it is a whenever we enabling the feature of the object locking, so it works based on the worm. Worm is nothing but write once, read many times. So this is the our object locking model. So uh, we can enable the object lock on the versioning enable the bucket. So we can enable the object lock on the versioning enable bucket. So you can see here so this is my versioning here. So we can provide on our versioning bucket also, particular of the object also. So just a minute. Here we have the object lock here. So object lock is nothing but object lock will be enabled at bucket level. It will be applicable at a object level. Already we discussed. So versioning it will be enabled at a bucket level. It will be applicable for the object level. So this is that. But we have whenever we enable the object locking, then versioning will be enabled by the default. Because suppose we are enabled and suppose we are trying to this one enable, so and we are not enabling the versioning at that time, it will be by default applicable for the enable of the versioning, because object locking is nothing but write once, read many times. So it is a model. So it will be applicable on our versioning enable buckets only, because no one can delete our data once we selected the object locking. So suppose we uploaded some files, so this and I'm enabling of this object particular the whatever we uploaded the data. So once we uploaded data and I'm enabling of the object locking, in that also versioning will be automatically activated, because it's a we can say call it a dependent functionality. So once we enable, then no one can delete our the data. So that is the called as a object locking. So we need to the acknowledgement here. So suppose we are acknowledgement that enabling, we are acknowledging that enabling of the object lock will be permanently allowed in this bucket will be locked. So suppose someone is another my team member should not be delete the data. So whatever we uploaded the data. So it's a object locking. After that, next we have the one minute, transfer acceleration. So what is the transfer acceleration? Once I click on the edit here, you can see the transfer acceleration. So acceleration is nothing but it's a speed. So it is used to the speed up the data transfer the process in the S3 bucket. Suppose I want to upload the 2 GB data. So we can enable the transfer acceleration and we can increase our speed of the whatever we are uploading the data. So it will be you will get the some VIP treatment for this one. Suppose I want to travel Mumbai to Bangalore, then you have the two options. We have the many options. So you can either go with uh, car, you can go with train, you can go with travels, you can go with your aeroplane. So we can use in that conditions. So but whenever using the aeroplanes at that time, we will reach out to our destination within the 1 hour, 2 hours. But whenever we are going starting from our journey, Mumbai to Bangalore at a train, so it will be take more than the 1 day, 2 days. I'm not sure, but so it will be take some time because we are traveling. So in this between we have the one difference. So whenever we are going with train or travels or anything here, so cost will be less as compared to the aeroplane because we have the some aeroplane tickets we can say called as a as compared to the high, then this is the VIP treatment. It depends on you. Suppose I want to upload the more data, then you can enable the and it is suppose it depends on you. So it's a more sizing of the data. Whenever we are enabling the transfer acceleration, then our data will be transferred to process in our S3 bucket, it will be speed up. Otherwise, it will be as of normal. So whenever we enabling the transfer acceleration, then bill will be more and more generated here. So this is the transfer acceleration. So we are not changing anything here because bill will be generated. So you can enable and you can try it. But we are uploading the 1 KB data here. But whenever we have the more GB data, then you can enable the transfer acceleration and you can speed up your data transfer process into the S3 bucket. So that is the purpose of the transfer acceleration. Whenever we enabling the transfer acceleration provided, so it will be provide some endpoints URL to upload the data to the S3 bucket. So we will get one endpoint. What is the endpoint? Endpoint is nothing but one URL. So it you will get a one VIP treatment and you will get a one your endpoint of the URL. Then you can upload the data in the S3 bucket within the quickly within the not cycle. We can upload the data quickly. Suppose we can take example of the Wi-Fi. Suppose whenever we are purchase the Wi-Fi at 100 Mbps of the plan, then our download speed will be 100 Mbps. But whenever we increase the bill, suppose I want to change the plan, I want to go with 400 500 Mbps, then you can choose it and you have to pay the more as compared to the your 100 Mbps. That is the difference between the transfer acceleration. So you will get some VIP treatment. We can say called as in the AWS. Okay, this is the transfer acceleration. So I think that is we completed the versioning, object locking, and transfer acceleration. Versioning is nothing but we can maintain the old file and new file. That is called as the versioning. Object locking is nothing but whenever we enabling the object locking, no one can delete your data. So, but once we have the condition is there, once we enable the object locking, then versioning also it will be automatically by default enable. So it will be applicable for your object level one because we are applied all those conditions on the bucket level and you will get the all those treatment in our object. Okay, that is the our versioning, object locking, and transfer isolation. Okay, okay. Then we have the next topic that is called as a we can say called. Okay, next topic we have the storage classes. What is the storage classes? Storage classes is nothing but we can say called as to specific the frequently used we want to access our object from the S3. Okay, what is the storage classes? While we uploading the whatever we object, then we can see the properties of the storage classes are used to the specific how frequently we want to access our object. So how frequently it means whenever we are accessing the object, we have the some properties defined in our AWS. Suppose we are uploading the one object here. Suppose I'm uploading the object here. Suppose we selected one file here. So we have the permission. After that, suppose I'm providing the permission as a public access. After that, we can see the properties. In that properties, we have the storage classes. So it depends on you. So how frequently we want to access our object. Okay. So whenever we are not selecting anything there while we uploading the object, it will be default standard storage classes selected. You can see the availability zone greater than 3. Then we have the intelligent tiering here. Then standard IA, one zone IA, glacier instant retrieval, then glacier flexible retrieval. Then we have the glacier deep archive and reduce the redundancies is there. Okay, these are the standard storage classes. Not standard. These are the storage classes type. So it depends on your how we are accessing our object from the S3 bucket. So suppose whenever we talked about of the real time scenario, so we have the some Flipkart application. In that Flipkart application, we have the one product file, so it will be continuously accessing. So it will be availability of the zone, then minimum storage duration. So it we can say called as it is nothing but storage classes is nothing but it's the object of the properties. At a time of the uploading of the object, we can select it storage classes for the object. We have the several of the storage classes in the S3 bucket below, like standard, intelligent tiring, then standard I, then glacier, all those stuffs we have. But what is the purpose of the standard? So I want to frequently access the data. So more than the once month, we have the millisecond for the access, then we can you go with standard. So it depends on your object, your whatever we have the data accessing properties. So suppose I want to access the frequently, okay, more than the once month, then we can go with standard. Suppose intelligent tiring is nothing but I don't know how many times we can access the data. So then we can go with intelligent tiring. So why we go with storage classes? Because whenever we are selecting these storage classes, whatever we are accessing, then bill will be generated. So we have the standardization process from the our AWS side. They will be provided. These are the storage classes. Some data we will access after 6 months, after 1 year, whenever we require, then we can access the data in our application. So that time we can go with storage classes. So I don't know how many times I will access the data in my application. Then we can go with intelligent tiling. I will show you examples also. Then after that, what is the standard? So it's a default to access the object more than the once in month, then within millisecond access. Then we can go with standard. So whenever we take example, website, mobile application, gaming data, big data analytics, these are the we have to go with standard. We have this type of the data, then we can go with standard. whenever we go with intelligent tiering, so I don't know how many times we have to access it to data, then we can go with intelligent tiering. So whenever we take example of the machine learning databases and IoT sensor data, then we can say what is a financial record. Also, we can access it, but it's a fluctuating access needed whenever we require. Then we can go with intelligent tiering. We have the standard IA. Standard IA is nothing but infrequent access data. So you can see here in once a month with millisecond access. So suppose I want to backup of the data, then disaster recovery and long-term storage for the critical business data, then we can go with standard I. So when we have to go with infrequently access, then we have to go with standardization. But you can see here the availability is on one greater than the three here. So we have the disaster recovery data. I want to store it, then backup data, long term storage data for the critical business data. Then we have to go with standard IA. One zone IA also is there. You can see here. So you can see the, so it depends on your requirement. We can select the storage classes. We can say what is the property. Okay, so you can see the billing, monitoring, all those stuffs. We have the table data here. You can see the availability zone, minimum storage duration, then minimum bill object will be generated. At least suppose whenever we go with standard I, then bill will be generated. Suppose we uploaded the 128 KB files, then bill will be generated. So you can see the minimum bill will be generated object size. So here you can see the everywhere dash dash, that is the meaning of the, we can see the bill will be generated whatever we uploaded the data, but it will be minimum. So up to 5 GB we can go with standard. After that you can see the one zone is there. So one zone is nothing but store the single availability zone. So there is a no backup data here. You can see availability zone only one here. So we don't have any backups. Availability zone is there. Whenever we go with one zone IA, we want to store the single availability zone in that. Then we can go with, suppose we have the secondary backup easily recreate. Suppose we can easily recreatable data we have in the application, then we can go with one zone IA. Okay, then internal reports, you can search on the storage classes properties and examples. You will get the number of examples on the googles. So just we are going with uh, what is the storage classes and what is the purpose of the particular of the storage classes. Then Glacier instance retrieval is there. Suppose we have the long live archive data, then we can go with. But here you can see the we have the one observation here in quarter. Suppose I want to access the um, in the quarter early, I want to access that the data in the quarterly, then we can go with Glacier instance retrieval data with millisecond in millisecond, then we can go with Glacier. Example, medical images, medical media assets, then regulatory compliance record data, media. Okay. Mm, so then we can go with Glacier stuff because we can access the data frequently. We are not accessing the frequently. We can accessing this data in the quarterly. Then we can go with Glacier. Then we have the flexible is there, Glacier. Okay. Then in the flexible Glacier, we have the, suppose I want to access with the particular of the data once in the year, then minute to hours. Then we can go with long. You can see here flexible. I want to access long life. We can say called as a once in the year. I want to access the data. We can go with Glacier flexible retrieval. So it will be minute to the hours. Then we suppose we have the historical logs, then legal documents, long term digital preservation. These are the things we can access it. Glacier flexible retrieval. Then we have the Glacier deep archive. Suppose I want to access the data less than the once in the year, and how hours to the download. You can see the hours to the download. Here we have the many. Whenever we talked here, long uh, less than the once in the year, then we can go with Glacier deep archive. Then we can download hours to the download. Then whenever we go with examples, government records and old media backup, these are the data we can store it. Okay, so these are the things of the storage classes. We can see the backup type, then sorry, bucket type here, then availability zones is there, minimum storage durations and minimum will be generated, and monitoring and auto tiling of the fees and retrieval fees also. That is the purpose of the storage classes. So but whenever we uploading the object, we are not selecting any storage classes of the properties, then by default standard will be selected. So it depends on you. Whenever we are uploading the object in our S3 bucket, then when we can access this data, then we can decide the storage classes. These are the things of the storage classes. So what is the purpose of the storage classes? Storage classes are used to the specific how frequently we want to access our object from the S3 bucket, then we can go with S3 storage classes. So these are the thing of the S3 storage classes. Then next topic, you can see here the we don't have any another option configuration we don't require. One of the important required we have the properties here. So storage classes is nothing but so we can access our object, how many times we can access it, then we can decide to the storage classes. So next agenda, how to host the static website using of the S3 bucket. Another we have the purpose of the S3 bucket. We have the one static website. I want to host this static website in our S3 bucket. Then you can see here while we uploading the while we creating the, you can see here I'm leaving this one. So in the properties we have the options is there, static website hosting. So another purpose is that I want to host the static website, then we can go with S3 bucket. So how to do this one? So website is nothing but we know that collection of the web pages is. Suppose we have the one website. Um, it depends on you. We have the two types of the website. Mainly one is a static, another is a dynamic. Static is nothing but we already know that data, we can say call it the website which give the same response content for all users, that called as a static website. But the website which gives the response based on your user, that is called as a dynamic. Okay, so this is the difference. So whenever continuously changing the data, then we can say called as a dynamic. Whenever we are getting the same response or content on our website, same content to all users, then we can say called as a this is my static website. Okay, but we have the another, suppose I want to deploy the static website, then we can go with S3 bucket, either we can go with we can create one EC2 Linux VM and install the HTTPD web server, and we can deploy it. HTTPD is nothing but we have the one web server. Okay, first we will discuss how to host the uh, static website using of the S3 bucket. Okay, so before going to the S3 bucket, we required a one static website. Then how we can create it? Just we are creating the simple website is there. You can see, just a minute, we can create a simple website. Suppose I'm having of this folder. In this folder I'm creating one folder that is called as a temp folder. Okay, temp folder. Okay, in this temp folder I'm creating the two uh, two files here. One is a index.html. Okay, in this index.html we have the some whatever we have the website data. So suppose we have the this one, you can see the whenever we click on the dot extension HTML, then we can see the web page here. Then I want to edit with Notepad, and just I'm adding the some data in that. So I'm adding one simple here. I'm not adding anything here. So I'm adding the one we can say called as a I'm adding a one uh, simple message here. Suppose I'm saying here, welcome to our DevOps class. So otherwise there is no need to the double quote here. Welcome to our DevOps class. Okay, this is my index.html. This is my website application UI. Okay, so just leave it. Just leave it. Don't want to save. Okay, so after that we have the another thing here. So what is the I want to create another file here. So what is the file name? So it will be suppose in my application, is there any error in that? So we can create a one error file that is called as a error.html. Suppose we have some issues in our website, then we can show the one eco-friendly message we can say. So I'm saying here, suppose is there any issue in my website, then I'm saying the error occurred. Please try. Suppose is there any mismatch data? Please try. Okay, this is my second. That is called as a error.html. Okay, so we created here. Okay, so is index.html file and error.html file. This is my requirement is completed. I want to deploy this static website into my S3 bucket. How we can do this one? So we need to the create a unique we can say called as a we need to the create a one S3 bucket. If we created already, that is the fine. Otherwise we can create the new S3 bucket. First step. After that we can upload the website files and folder. What is the my folder? It's a folder, temp folder. Then we can upload the files in that, and we can give the access to the public read access, and we are enabling the website static website hosting in our bucket properties. After that we can access the our website using of the website using the endpoint URL. So that is the we have to do the operations here. So how we can do this one? So I need to go with again my here. So in this I'm creating one bucket here. So you can create a new bucket, otherwise you can use the same bucket. I'm creating a simple bucket here. My bucket name is a website. Okay, so I'm enabling the ACLs here, and I'm owner of this object. Then I'm disable this one for the all public access. Then I'm enabling the versioning here, disabled by default. I will show you, and bucket keys also is there. After that, once we created the bucket here, I think already existing. Okay, so I use many times, so that's why. Okay, so once we created here our web bucket here, you can see website 01. Then you can see here, suppose we are enabling the object. I will show you another thing here. Suppose we enable the object here, you can see enable versioning here disabled. This is the dependency already we discussed. That's just I need to show you one validation message to everyone. So that's why I have disabled the object and versioning. You can enable the object and versioning. Once we added here, you can see we need to provide to the object enabled here. Then you can see once we unknown APIs because we need to the versioning enable. Once we enabling the versioning, then we can see the another validation message is there. Suppose we enabled here, Once we enable, then we can allow to the, then AWS will be allowed to the object enabled here. We cannot see anything error here. We cannot see any validation message there because we already versioning here. Just I want to show you. That's why I have while we creating. You can see you cannot create it this one because we need to the disable the object locking first and then we can edit it. You can see the one validation message also is there from the bucket versioning. Okay, it dependency of the property bucket versioning and object locking. Okay, if we are enabling the bucket versioning, there is a no need to the enable the object locking. But while we enabling of the object locking, we need to the first enable the bucket versioning. Okay, so this is the tricky questions. Okay, so whenever we go with internet, they will ask this type of the questions. Okay, so after that I want to enable the here. So first we will upload this the data, then we are enabling the static website. First, how we can upload it? We know that we are going with, suppose I'm uploading this one. So I'm uploading the one folder here, temp file. You can see my desktop. Where is my desktop? You can select it here. So in DevOps, and then you can select the temp folder here. Okay. So once we uploaded the temp folder, you will get the automatically both of the files. Otherwise, you can select the both of the files error.html and index.html. Okay, you can select it both of the files. So it depends on you. You can upload the folder. You can upload the single your files here. Yeah. Okay. So we need to the enabling this one because we want to provide to the access to the everyone. Okay, so once we provided to the URL, everyone can access your uh, website. Okay, so that's why we are providing to the, we are giving to the public read access is there. Okay, so right now we are not selecting any properties here. So already by default my standard storage classes is selected, then just I'm uploading the data here. Okay, so you can see the uploaded is successfully. I'm closing this one. So we need to the go with properties here. In this properties, you can see the edit static website here. Static edit the static website hosting. So we need to the provide the both of the index document file here. So index.html. This is my file. Then another one is a error.html. So we require the two files here, index document and index document optional. But you can see the every in the application we have the one eco-friendly of the message. So that's why we created the one error.html file. So once we clicking on here, then host the static website. We are not requesting to the object here. So once we clicking on the static website here, you can see we created successfully. Then you can see here we can see the bucket website endpoint here because we created one static website. In this static website we enabled, once we enable, then we will get the one endpoint URL. You can paste it on your website here. See, you can say the forbidden 013 because we are not uploaded successfully file, we are uploaded the just folder. So that is the issue there. Okay, so how, that's why just by intentionally I have uploaded the folder. Okay, so how we can do this one, how we can resolve this one issue? So you can see here, just go to the your upload file. Okay, so do I need to the this folder here? In this folder we have the one object. Okay, so I don't want to this folder right now because we are not wrapping anything here. So we will discuss later on. But just I'm deleting this object because we need to the upload the files. We are not uploading the object. So just I want to show you why we need to the upload the individual files. Okay. First we can upload it, but just I want to show you how once we uploaded the folder and then how we can what type of the issue we can show in this one. Okay, so how we can select it in the temp folder? I am selecting both of the files is there. Okay, error dot and HTML is there. Then you can see just I want to give the permission for both of the files here because it won't be navigate to the directly to that folder. So that's why we need to upload the files individually. Okay. Once we uploaded the file here, you can see the type text.html. Just I'm closing this one. Then properties here. So do I need to changes anything in that? No, because already we enabling and we are hosting it. Just we need to the click on this website. Otherwise you can copy it because earlier it was for beta. It's nothing but it's a error from the server side. You can, if anyone aware about the APIs, then they know the what is the 403. But whenever we copying this one, so you can see the website I have copied this one. So just I have pasted. You can see the hi, welcome to our DevOps classes. This is my host website. Okay, this is my static website. But suppose I have changed something in that in this file. Okay, so you can see the error occur. Please try it because we are providing some eco-friendly message there. Suppose if we are not providing this file, then you will get the this type of message 403. This type of the messages we can see in that. Okay, you can try it. Error file is optional, but index.html file is a mandatory while we hosting of the our static website. So that is the thing we completed how we can say the how to host the static website by using of the S3 bucket. I think everyone is clear. If anyone has a doubt, you can comment on your we can you can comment on your you can comment on our videos, then I will get back to you. So, okay. So that is the simple thing. Just we do the here simple thing. We created one HTML file and we created two files. One is HTML index.html and another is a error.html. Okay. So this is the our static hosting website. We have the options in that. Okay. Everyone can access because we are giving them access to the read access to the publicly, so that's why everyone can access it. Okay, so last for the S3 bucket, last for the S3 bucket we will discuss the AWS S3 limits. Okay, so we have some limits is there. Suppose by default we created up to 100 S3 bucket, but as per our AWS account, suppose I want to my requirement is more than the 100, I want to create a bucket in my application, then we need to the go with our AWS support team, and then we need to the discuss to team, and we requested to the AWS support team, I want to increase the my S3 bucket limit, then they will give you increase the limitation for your account. It depends on your project. Suppose if we are facing anything in that our cloud computing, then we go with AWS support team. Then we will discuss to the AWS support team. Then they will resolve it. Otherwise, we have some different requirement. Then we can request it to the our AWS support team. Okay. So this is the how many S3 bucket we can create it. Up to 100 we can create it. More than the 100 we are AWS account won't be allowed to the create a bucket. Okay, but I think that is the sufficient for the 100 S3 bucket for the in our application. Okay, so we are not going to the 100. Okay, after that individual object size can be up to the 5 TB. Okay, so up to 5 TB we can individually upload it. Okay, but we have the suppose we have the large object is there, then we can use the multi-part upload also is there. Okay, we have the option is there. Suppose we have the large object file size. Okay, then we can upload the multi-part of the upload. Suppose whenever we take example of the Amazon Prime, in that Amazon Prime I want to upload the one movie, so it's latest movie. So from the Amazon Prime side, I want to upload it. Then you can use the S3 bucket, and suppose it's a we have the more sizing, then we can uh, upload the object in the multi-part. Okay, so after that in one bucket we can upload the unlimited object because we can upload the unlimited object. We don't have any limitation for the buckets. Okay, these are the things. I think we completed all the S3 bucket services here, and whatever we required the uh, for the S3 bucket as a real-time DevOps engineer, we should know. We discuss here, and tomorrow we will start our RDS services, relational database services. After that, once we completed the relational database services, we can start our EC2 services. Okay, this is the most important thing for the virtual machine. So we will discuss one by one services, then we will jump on our next topic. Okay. I think that's it for the S3 bucket services. But make sure whatever you created the services, whatever you created the data in that, you need to the delete it. We have to delete it because suppose we created here, first we can delete this one because otherwise you will get the one message there. First empty the your bucket, then you can delete your bucket whatever you created. First we need to the empty our bucket. Instead of that you can delete your object individually and you can delete direct here. Okay, so you can see the message here, bucket is not empty, so you need to the bucket empty. Okay, once we emptied bucket here, then we need to the type it here, permanently deleted. So why we are deleting? Because otherwise bill will be generated. Okay, so make sure whatever you use the services, then we need to the delete it because otherwise bill will be generated. Okay, we are using for the uh, sometimes then bill will be generated for the it will be generated for the minimum amount. Okay, 1 minute. I have created another two buckets here already. I have created website 01. Okay, this is another bucket. I'm deleting all those buckets here. So once you delete it, we cannot revert back that. Okay, because we are confirming to the, you can see the in my bucket I have object, so that's why. Otherwise you can delete it individually. So whatever you use the services, you make sure we have to delete it. You can see, I think I have, first I have empty the bucket, then I need to the confirmation. So I think that's it for today. Tomorrow we will start our new services, RDS, relational database services. Okay. So thanks for everyone.